Hello, my name is Matthew Pham. For my class project, it's called Pictured Map, which allows users to upload and save data with a description and pins that information to a map view, which is accessed through a table view.
Okay, so for the project idea, I wanted people to have a way to upload their personal images and connect them to a certain part of the map. And they can write a small description about the location and share their experience with others. I thought it would be just a fun little way just for people to what they've been showing what they're doing in that particular location of the world. So I do this by having a detail view, which will have the user submitted photo as well as information that they wrote. And all these detail views are connected to a table view, which will have all of the users who submitted their information, as well as a main map view, which will have a visual map representation of all the data the users have inputted. Okay, for the more technical side, I created for the MVC architecture two separated models, one for the core data and one for Firebase. And there are three controllers. There will be a detail view, a table view, as well as the global map view. And I use UI storyboard to create these views, and as well as a navigation controller to navigate through. So for the view, it is meant to display the data to the user, and for the map view, it will have all the user made annotations, and the table view will display all the user made information into a row format, which will include a small picture, the city or address that it is located at, as well as a small description the user created. And the detail view will be more in depth of each individual row. There's also a photo picker pop-up, which is displayed in the table view. And the view interacts with the controller, in which the controller will handle the logic and update the view accordingly. So the controller will handle the data saving and getting from Firebase, as well as update pin markers on the map view. And it will also handle saving, getting, and deleting data from the core data, and as well as handle geolocation and loading photos, as well as table view updates, as well as data transfer between detail view and table view through segues. So for the model will have all the stored user data, in which the controller calls upon the model every time it wants to retrieve or update data. So Firebase and core data will store all the images, the coordinates, titles, and user description, and as well as converting the image to binary, and interact with the Firebase API, as well as data persistence with the core data. So the interaction between the view and the controller, the view is able to communicate with the controller through actions, such as refresh the button. Refresh button will call onto the controller, request to update the main map view, and this is done after usually new data is inputted, and this will add a new annotation. So the controller will call an update onto the view and add the annotation properly. So for the controller model interaction, the controller will call an update from saving the title or image, and this update will be added to the model, and the model will then return the proper data to the controller to manipulate. So for the class diagram, there are two models, the Firebase model as well as the core data model. The Firebase model will store the coordinates and do a save as well as a retrieval, and the core data model will also have the coordinates, but it will save the picture, the detail, which is what the user will input for a custom description, and a name, which will be the actual city or address they want to save their picture to. And the fetch record method will get how many items there are inside of the table view. The add fruit will add a new entity or a set of data into the table view. And the save manage object will save an image properly, and remove fruit will remove an item from the table view, and get fruit will get a certain entity based on the row input and return the entity. So all the data in the core data will be persistent. And for the controllers, we have the view controller, which will be our table view, and we create a Firebase model as well as a fruit model in order to update properly the corresponding changes in which the user has made. And I make a UI table view, which will have multiple functions, which will handle the deleting, the adding. For the table view rows, there will be a refresh button, which is automatically done after something has been added to the table view. It will automatically show in one of the rows. There is a prepare, which segues into the detail view controller. Image picker controller, which will have mainly just a pop-up, and the user is allowed to select an image from the gallery and upload it to the model, core data model. And the map view will have all of the fetched user-made entities and data from the core data coordinates as well as the Firebase model coordinates. And all of these locations will have annotation, which will be updated into the map view. And for the detail view controller, each row on the table view will have a detail view controller, and this will have more specific information such as the city. The image itself will be displayed in a bigger format. There will be a user description as well. Some coordinates will be displayed, and MK map view will have only one specific pin compared to the map view controller, which will have all the pins of all the created user data. So with detail view, there's only one individual pin marking the individual city. And you're able to go back to the table view from the detail view controller. And from the detail view controller, you can also go back to the map view controller. So the visual of the main map view, as you can tell, there will have all the annotations from the cities. You can click double tap to zoom in into your particular location into more if the annotations don't pop up immediately. And there's a refresh button on the left hand side top, which will allow for new annotations to appear after being added, and the table view button will go to the next table view. And the capabilities of the table view is you're able to, like I said before, add on the right hand side. Top side is a plus button, which will allow for the photo picker pop-up to appear. And you're able to select your image and type in the city address or whatever address you want to add, as well as a small description. So for example, the address could be New York, and the small description could be, wow, what a crate, as I added here. And after adding the data, it will reflect in the table view by adding a new row. And you can slide to delete, and there's a back button to go back to the global map view as seen before. And if you click on the row, it will go into the detail view. So the capabilities of the detail view, as I've said before, it will have a pin, only one pin, in a particular location onto the map where the user has saved. And this will have an image on the left hand side, as well as the description that the user wrote. And you're able to go back to the table view through the little city table button. And as you can tell, the latitude and longitude from the previous city is stored onto Firebase through an API call, as I use CocoaPods as the main way to interact with the Firebase system through iOS. So the limitations of my app currently is that it does not fully use Firebase data. I don't upload the picture at all. I only upload the coordinates, and mainly core data is my persistent database. So if I would like to implement Firebase as well as core data fully, and editing feature has not put in place. So if you go to a specific table view row, you're able to edit the information, like upload a new photo, change the description, or change the address. And there was a search feature in the detail view which should be removed. It's like allows you to search around for another coordinate, but only it's necessary for my app, so that should be probably removed. And the UI needs a little bit of a cleanup, since the color scheme and generally it's not very 100% pleasing yet to look at. So for the lessons learned, I learned how to create the Firebase and core data models, as well as apply UML and MVC architecture diagrams to my application. So I was able to properly split my application up into a view and the controller, which will access the model through functions, and the controller, it will handle the view model interactions, but not the model or view can interact with one another. And also you need to learn how to use CocoaPods and Firebase database with application, and that Firebase manipulation is my web API call in my project. And for suggestions and improvements for the course, I would like for the table view section to be covered slightly more detail. It was a little bit confusing when I first saw it, and the recorded lectures for Firebase would be excellent from the TAs, as TA went a little bit too fast for me to comprehend fully, and more examples of MVC architecture would be ideal at the beginning of the class in terms of an example code, because I only seen like maybe 1 or 2 MVC, so I only learned MVC really at the end of the class. So yes, thank you.